Hello, everyone. This is Chantaine. I am going to talk a little bit about getting you started in pathways. Toastmasters has provided something that is, I think, almost revolutionary. When I first came into Toastmasters, we had these booklets, which were great because they gave a lot of information about it. But you had to have your booklet in order to work on things. And the moving all of that information online gives us the ability to have so much more and so much more at our fingertips. And I love that their philosophy is the path to a better you. So that's what you can think about when you talk about pathways. So here I have just logged into my Toastmasters account. You should all have an account at toastmasters.org. And you will go to your pathways, go to base camp here. And there you will be able to access. Pathways has now gotten much easier to navigate so that you can actually get to your paths, get to speech evaluations, get to the resources that you need, and even be able to do things like give feedback to your club members and store your documents. So we'll talk a little bit about each of those. The one thing about pathways, though, is that you're not able, you can go back and you'll see that you've completed things. So I'll go here. But you will not be able to, and this is my open curriculum, this is what you want to do. My path is presentation mastery. So you want to open this. But you have level 1, 2, 3. Actually happen to be on level 4. Unfortunately, I cannot show you what level 1 looks like. And your very first thing is your icebreaker. But what I can show you is here. And this is another little secret here. When you see this, a lot of us, if you're like me, are used to clicking up here, click down here. But you want to go to tutorials and resources. And this, I'm going to point out to you the actual, so I went to tutorials, and it has great videos that show you how you can progress through. So the first one I would suggest that you go to is accessing your path. This will show you how to get to your path, how to bring it up. It will show you how you start on your icebreaker speech and how you progress through the learning that they provide. There's a series of videos that they provide so that you learn about what is an icebreaker, how to set up your icebreaker, and just in general, get you acclimated to getting your very first speech underway. Then there's another little secret to completing the level. And so this video here will take that would be your next one that you would need to do and complete, and all of these are very short, 2 to 3 minutes. So completing a level, and it will show you how you actually indicate to pathways that you have completed the learning that you need to do. That is very important because what happens, which you probably don't know behind the scenes, is that there's a lot going on. So when you complete say for instance, your icebreaker speech, you go through and there's an evaluation at the end that you need to complete. When you complete your evaluation, a message is sent to your VPE, which happens to be me at the time of this recording, and is also sent to your president. And one of us will go in and actually confirm the fact that you have completed your speech. And so it's a two-way notification here. Not only do you say it, but that we go through and say, yes, you have completed your speech. One of the things I would suggest, and especially we need to work this out during our time online, but I would suggest that you keep your evaluations. And so if you go back to where we were first looking, so Toastmasters actually provides a spot. I forgot it doesn't do that as well. So yeah, this home button here, oh, there we go. So Toastmasters provides a spot right here in my documents where you can save your evaluations. So get the person that does your evaluations to scan it in, send it to you so that you can keep those. Why would you want to do that? Because there are recommendations often, or things that you forgot that you need to probably work on, that will be written in your speech evaluation. there often there's more on your speech evaluation as a written than you get when the person actually does your evaluation vocally, does it in real time. And so you want to go back and look at all of the suggestions, and I suggest that everyone actually do that on your evaluation, is fill in all of the things that could help that person to make that speech much, much better. And then you can keep that there. And so Pathways 101 is a great way to not only to continue with your educational, but also to give feedback to your club members. And we don't do this often enough. We probably should focus on this a little more, but you could actually take notes during the meeting, go into your pathways after the meeting and provide feedback. So not only will they be getting feedback from their official evaluator, but you could go in and actually help your club members yourself. We can all support each other by giving feedback to uh, our club members, so that we can actually give them a well-rounded way to improve, a way to advance, a way to do the things that they came to Toastmasters to do. And so Pathways, as I said, Pat, I'm going to go back here again. When you go to, you've already, most of you have, I think everyone has selected whatever your path will be. You will go to Open Curriculum, and you will get to see. That's the other thing that is, I think, is very important. Sometimes we think and at first when they set it up, you were sort of blind. You didn't really know what to expect. Now Pathways is set up so that when you look at your levels, you get to see everything that is actually a part of your level, so that you can pick and choose your goals, choose your projects to match your goals. So your mentor will be working with you to figure out what your goal is in Toastmasters and what your goal is with the speeches that you're doing. And then you can actually look at your projects and see which of those fit better into your goal. For instance, as you can see, I've checked out both of these, create a podcast and creating a social media presence. I'm now in level 4. And what I am doing, I have my own project and my own business outside of work. And what I want to do in 2020 is to learn how to create a podcast and how to increase my social media presence. And voila, Toastmasters has projects that fit right in there. So I can be working on what I want to do in real life and build it up in Toastmasters and have Toastmasters support what I'm trying to do. And so that is what I think is the best thing about Pathways, is that it gives you a general topic, but you can form the topic in order to support the goals that you have in life, in work, in your personal life. You can use the Toastmasters structure in order to support the things that you're going to do anyway. And basically, as I say, double dip. You get to double dip and do the same thing and have it count in both things. So Toastmasters, as I say, the Pathways, what it does for you is it organizes your thoughts. It gives you a progressive level of learning. So when you go to level 1, unfortunately, it shows you what you have. But if you launch it, it'll say, okay, that you can't go back and look at that project again, because it'll say, well, you've already completed it. But you can see that you've done your icebreakers. As you progress, you'll get a check mark. So you get a gamified, kind of gamifies what you're doing, so that you can see that, you know what, I have progressed through this. Level 2 is understanding, body language. I love what it does as far as it helps you to not only first get started, then it helps you refine how you speak, how you use your body, how you communicate. You go through level 3, which was even more, persuasive speaking. That was an interesting project because it helps you now to start dealing with, we have a very supportive environment when we speak, but when you go out into the real world, maybe or maybe not, it may not be as supportive. And so this actually gives you practice in how do you deal with some of the topics, some of the things that come up when you're speaking, and gives you practice in this safe and supportive environment. As Samantha said, this is the safest, most supportive environment you will ever have. And so definitely you want to take that opportunity to go through your Pathways learning experience and learn how to do, learn how to be more comfortable when you're speaking, so that when you're out in the world, you will be more effective. And that's whether at work or whether you're dealing with a difficult kid. Either way, you need speaking skills. So, and then now, I'm at level 4, managing that difficult audience, and then all the elective projects. So again, get into your pathways, get started with your icebreaker speech, and then you have a team here to help you navigate through, make sure that you take credit for the work that you've done, and get the badges and earn the badges so that you can work towards the goals that you've set up in your Toastmasters journey. Do we have any questions?
Chantaine, This is Tom. Had a question about, or at least a comment about the evaluations, and you said that you can fill out the evaluation. I'm one of the old school types that have to have something to write on and write the evaluation out, or write something out and put it on a blank form. But I did notice when I evaluated Jane's speech that you can go in and fill in the document. So if there's an evaluation form, you can type in the evaluation notes and everything and save it, I guess, and then either email it to the participant, so they'll have a record of it.
Right, exactly. And then they allow a spot where you can actually upload it and save it, so that you actually have all your evaluations in one spot.
Another question, or a question that I have, how does, and I'm just now starting the pathways portion of my Toastmastering career, but and I'm finishing up finished the legacy part. So how does the beginnings of pathways compare to the beginnings of the legacy Toastmaster, the one where we had the manual with the 10 speeches or 15 speeches in it, and you gave your icebreaker? How does that compare to the more virtual type of pathways?
Okay. It is actually very much the same. The projects, instead of the 10 speeches being in one book, those 10 projects are broken out into level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, and level 5. And so the very first thing that you have, if you can see right now on your screen, level 1, the very first thing is your icebreaker. When you click the launch button, it will take you to some textual and video information that helps you learn more about how do you do an icebreaker, why would you want to do your icebreaker, and how would you do it. The evaluation and feedback, this will help you to learn about how you give feedback, how you receive the feedback, because as we said, this is a safe environment, but it doesn't help you if you don't get, the word constructive criticism. So if you don't get that constructive criticism. So these projects are very much similar to what I remember being in the book that helps you learn basically your initial Toastmasters journey, how to get started, how to do a speech, how to give feedback, how to evaluate, how do you research a topic, and then it gives you suggestions and ways on organizing your speech. So the same things that you're used to in your booklet are given here online, but is given in a textual and a visual method, so that you can learn how to do how to get started.
So let's say, as an example, on the icebreaker, since in some, like, we've had a couple of members that have given, multiple icebreakers, like 10 or 20 icebreakers in the legacy program. And so you start in the pathways and you give your icebreaker. I mean, there should be no hurdles to accomplish that icebreaker. Is that correct? I mean, it's still like, if you give them 20 icebreakers and you give the first icebreaker in pathways, it's like giving your 21st icebreaker, right? There's no new things that have come up that differ. So if you give them icebreakers, that kind of thing, so you kind of know already what that is if you've been in Toastmasters for a while, right?
Right. the support that the Pathways gives you online is you're able to get more information than just reading in the book. They give you videos, they give you some textual, some examples even, so that it's a whole lot more, I'm not even quite sure what the word is, but basically it gives you a whole lot more background on
Right.
what to do and how to do it, but the concept remains the same.
So for me, being an older Toastmaster, been in for a long time, it's learning how to do kind of the newfangled way, right?
Exactly. It's learning how to click
That's my
buttons.
difficult.
It's learning how to click the buttons. And Pathways
Right.
in some ways is a little more challenging in that it doesn't tell you, like, for instance, one of the things I learned about Pathways is I'm used to, doing things in little windows and having a bunch of windows all over my screen. With Pathways, I suggest that you do only that, and that you open your window up like this, because sometimes when you're looking at the videos that it gives you, there are things underneath and on the side that if you don't have the window big, you will miss. And then you're wondering why you're clicking and nothing's happening. So that if there was one little secret that brand new to technology, I would say, then definitely keep your windows big so you don't miss anything. Pathways.
Okay, thanks.
Chantaine, this is Sharon. This was a great presentation. So for our new members, can you kind of speak to when you first start Pathways, what that looks like? Because there's X number of paths and you take a quiz and you get to select it. So can you kind of go over that for someone who's brand new?
Brand new, yes. And it won't show me now, but actually, hold on, there is when you go back to your Toastmasters profile, go to base camp. So as Sharon mentioned, definitely, there is choose your path. Your first path is included with your Toastmasters experience. And so what I loved about this is you have a series of questions that are given to you so that it will help you determine what would be the best path. There are, I think, 20, I forgot, I don't have my stats with me, but about 20 different paths. And they range from, I want to be a speaker, I want to be a public speaker, and I want to go out into, I just want to learn how to do, certain things in work, and so it helps you to really choose your path. And it actually gives you, I believe, 2 or 3 paths that once you answer those questions, it will identify the path that best aligns with your interests and objectives that you have. And so I suggest that if you're brand new and you have not actually picked your path, then go here first, and it will lead you there first. Go through the questionnaire and then look to see how you feel about the path that is suggested. You don't have to take the path that is suggested, but I seriously suggest that you consider that. I felt the same way. I felt that I've been in Toastmasters 3 or 4 years, and so I think I know what path, and the one they suggested was not necessarily the path that I thought I would take. I am so glad I took their suggestion, because, as I said, all the projects have supported the things that I want to do in life outside of Toastmasters anyway, and they have fit right in with helping me to learn how to get through that. So thank you, Sharon, for bringing that up, because yes, if you have not yet selected your path, the very first thing to do is to honestly and thoughtfully answer the questions, and then truly consider the suggestion that Pathways gives you, because they've got some algorithms back there that we don't know about. And I think they work pretty well in order to help fit the Pathways experience to the life experience that you want to have.
Thank you, Chantaine. That was really great. So with that, is there a small window where if for some reason you pick a path and you're like, oh, this isn't the path for me, can you change that path before? Yes. Okay.
Yes, and I think it's after your first icebreaker. I'm not positive about that. I can check, but I do know that there is a small window of time when you can change the path. And then you can always, if you decide later on and you want to pick a path and pay for it, but for the one that's included in your Toastmasters journey, there's a small window in which you can take it out, check it out, go through it. And that's the other great thing about how they've set up the pathways now, as opposed to when it was first set up. Now you can actually look at even if you're not in that level, you can look at the projects in the level so you can truly evaluate. Whereas before we were looking kind of blindly at it. Any other questions? Right, I'm having a little technical challenges.